Imagine walking into the Octagon, millions of people watching from all over the world, and right in the middle of the fight, your shorts rip completely open. There's no time to fix it, just pure panic, while the entire planet watches.
Get that left shoulder under, she needs a turn.
UFC fighters train for broken noses, busted ribs, and brutal knockouts, but nothing prepares them for the moment their clothes betray them. In this video, we'll look at the most unforgettable moments when UFC fighters lost their clothing live on TV, how it happened, and what the UFC did afterward. In February 2013, UFC made history when Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche headlined UFC 157, the very first women's fight in the promotion. But what many fans don't know is that this groundbreaking match, Rousey, known for her fast-paced preparation, never tested her new sports bra before the big night. When Carmouche secured a rear-naked choke and hung onto Rousey's back like a determined koala, Rousey found herself fighting two opponents, Carmouche and her rebellious sports bra. Throughout the bout, especially when Carmouche pulled from behind, Rousey could be seen repeatedly adjusting her top between exchanges. The camera captured several tense moments when it seemed like the fabric might give out completely, leaving viewers holding their breath. Commentators chose not to mention the near wardrobe crisis, but fans online immediately noticed Rousey's constant fixing. Somehow, she managed to keep everything together, submitting Carmouche with her trademark armbar and preserving both her title and her dignity. Fast forward to 2015. When the UFC signed an exclusive uniform deal with Reebok, the idea was to bring a cleaner, more professional image to the sport. What no one expected was that it would mark the beginning of new wardrobe mishaps. Enter Elizabeth Phillips. At UFC on Fox 16 in July 2015, she went up against Jessamyn Duke in what was meant to be a straightforward bantamweight clash. But what fans got instead was something else entirely. During the first round, Phillips was on her back when her Reebok-issued sports bra suddenly shifted at the wrong moment. A slight slip, a pull, and suddenly, the overhead cameras caught what the broadcast team tried to quickly ignore. To her credit, Phillips didn't lose focus. She kept fighting as if nothing happened, maintaining her composure through the awkwardness. But lightning struck twice. In the third round, another takedown led to another wardrobe malfunction. Two separate incidents in one fight, something that could easily be a UFC record, though not one anyone would want. Commentator Kenny Florian was caught mid-sentence, going quiet as he struggled between calling the action and avoiding an FCC problem. Fans online immediately noticed the irony. Reebok's uniforms, meant to promote professionalism, had caused more trouble than expected. Yet, through it all, Phillips stayed focused and walked away with a unanimous decision victory. Afterward, she admitted the incident was frustrating, but remained calm about it, saying, "What can you do? I just wanted to keep fighting." The incident didn't just end there. It opened a flood of criticism about Reebok's design and fit. Many pointed out that if a fighter's gear can't handle standard grappling without falling apart, maybe it's time for a redesign. By this point, between shorts ripping, cups forgotten, and bras slipping, it was becoming clear that someone at UFC headquarters needed to add "test under live combat" higher up on their priority list. Let's go back a few months earlier to UFC on Fox 15 in 2015, when up-and-coming fighter Paige Van Zandt faced off against veteran Felice Herrig. For Paige, it was her big chance to show she was more than just a marketable face, and she succeeded, winning by unanimous decision. But behind the scenes, there was a moment no one knew about until years later. During a now-deleted Instagram Q&A, Van Zandt revealed that she nearly had a serious wardrobe malfunction mid-fight. As she told it, Herrig was on her back and threw an upkick that not only landed, it got her heel stuck inside Van Zandt's top. "I was standing up and she upkicked me," Van Zandt said. "Her heel got stuck in my top and started pulling it down. So instead of fighting, I was trying to get her foot out of my bra so I wouldn't expose everybody." Despite the awkward situation, the fight continued without interruption, and Van Zandt stayed calm enough to dominate the rest of the bout. Nothing was revealed, but it came dangerously close, showing the kind of unique risks female fighters face that men rarely think about. Ironically, this wouldn't be Van Zandt's last clothing-related moment in the spotlight. In 2017, she shared a lighthearted video of herself training in a sports bra that caused a small social media storm. It drew so much attention that her mother ended up deleting it from her account. Between her time in the UFC, her public image, and later appearances on Dancing with the Stars, Van Zant's reputation as both a fighter and a public figure became even more complicated. Then came UFC Fight Night 89 in Ottawa in June 2016, where Valerie Letourneau and Joanne Calderwood made history by competing in the UFC's first women's flyweight match. But while the fight was historic for the sport, Letourneau faced an embarrassing problem that had nothing to do with punches or kicks. During the fight, fans noticed she seemed uncomfortable during close exchanges and clinches. No one knew why, until she explained it herself days later in a Facebook post. "My bra literally slipped under my breasts," she wrote. "That's why I stared at the referee, embarrassed. I had to keep fighting." Letourneau made it clear she wasn't bothered by strikes to the chest, addressing those who claimed she was hurt by body shots. "I've been training martial arts for 17 years, she said. "Getting hit in the chest isn't worse than a low kick." She even threw in a pointed question. "Guys, would you be able to keep fighting if one of your nuts was slipping out of your shorts?" Unfortunately, the internet being the internet, wild rumors began to spread that Calderwood's knee might have damaged one of Letourneau's implants. Fans online analyzed the footage frame by frame, coming up with their own theories. Some claimed they saw unnatural movement, while others speculated about her gear. Letourneau ended the debate with one final confident statement. "They're real and they're spectacular at absorbing damage." That was enough to close the discussion. It was never confirmed whether she was wearing multiple bras during the fight, but her story quickly spread through MMA circles, sparking real discussions about how poorly women's fight gear was being made. Reebok even held a private meeting after the incident to review uniform concerns. Though Letourneau lost the fight by third-round TKO, her real struggle wasn't only against Calderwood, it was against faulty equipment clearly not designed with women in mind. One historic match, one wardrobe failure, and another reminder that the UFC still needed to test their gear in actual combat, not just in the gym. The so-called Reebok curse made another appearance at UFC 218, and this time it happened live. On December 3, 2017, during the early prelims in Detroit, Angela Magana faced Amanda Cooper in what was expected to be a routine strawweight fight. Everything seemed normal at first. Cooper scored an early takedown and began working from the top position against the fence. But as Magana pulled guard, referee Keith Peterson suddenly stepped in and called time. No foul, no injury, just a wardrobe malfunction. Magana's Reebok-issued sports bra had completely failed her. While pinned underneath, the bra shifted and rolled down on one side, causing what MMA outlets later described, very carefully, as a nipple slip. The crowd reacted instantly. Confused gasps, laughs, and shouts filled the arena. And in classic UFC fashion, Joe Rogan couldn't help but comment, "Isn't that hilarious? That's what people care about more than anything." Well, Joe wasn't wrong. Gear failure on live television is kind of a big deal. Officials allowed Magana a moment to fix the issue, and once she readjusted, the fight continued from the same position. But the momentum was gone. Cooper kept control, dominated the rest of the match, and ended it with a TKO in round 2. For Magana, it was her 5th straight defeat, and the one that got the most attention. Or at least it would have, if the UFC hadn't quietly trimmed the moment out of the Fight Pass replay. Around 15 seconds of footage disappeared, the slip, the break, and the restart, completely erased. But as the saying goes, the internet never forgets. Fans had already clipped it, uploaded it, and shared it. Reddit threads exploded. Twitter was filled with jokes and screenshots long before the Octagon floor had even been wiped down. And once again, Reebok found itself at the center of another uniform embarrassment. One MMA outlet summed it up perfectly. The UFC's deal with their Reebok overlords is going on 2 years now, and yet female fighters like Amanda Cooper and Angela Magana still have to worry about ill-fitting uniforms. This wasn't just a small mistake or a quick adjustment between rounds. It caused a full stoppage, a live broadcast scramble, and a digital cleanup afterward. Out of every wardrobe malfunction to ever happen in UFC history, this one stands out the most. It remains the only confirmed case of complete exposure that led to an official pause in the fight and a sneaky post-edit. If there were ever a championship title for wardrobe disasters, Magana versus Cooper would be holding the belt. Now, let's rewind to April 2006 at UFC Fight Night 3, where heavyweight Tim Sylvia became infamous for what fans now call the Code Brown incident. Sylvia, standing 6'8", stepped into the cage against Asuero Silva wearing oversized shorts that looked straight out of a 90s street basketball video. About halfway through the opening round, those loose trunks began slipping, and what appeared beneath them became an instant topic of internet legend. As Sylvia moved around, both fans and cameras caught sight of a dark, spreading stain on his compression shorts. Commentators tried to stay professional, while the camera crew scrambled to find safer angles, but the evidence was there for everyone to see. This wasn't a sweat mark. Something else had clearly gone wrong. Veteran referee Herb Dean later joked that he considered deducting a point for biohazard violations. Online forums exploded with wild theories. Some claimed it was the result of a pre-fight meal gone bad, others suggested detergent stains, and a few insisted it was just an unlucky shadow. But as the fight continued and the stain darkened, the truth seemed undeniable. Something unpleasant had happened in Sylvia's shorts. Sylvia himself never addressed the incident publicly. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. But behind the scenes, it triggered real changes in UFC policy. Gear inspections became mandatory, and rumors began circulating that staff started doing what they called the sniff test before fights. In the end, Sylvia may have kept his win, but his reputation took a hit. In the UFC, staying composed isn't always about the fight. It's about keeping your dignity and your gear intact. Next up, one of the strangest sights ever broadcast inside the Octagon. August 2011, UFC 133 in Philadelphia. Dennis Hallman stepped into the cage wearing, well, something that could hardly be called shorts. Picture a tight purple Speedo that looked. Across from him stood Brian Ebersol, doing his best to keep a straight face. The crowd buzzed with disbelief. Commentators were speechless. Dana White looked furious. So little fabric that it probably would have been taken down on Instagram within minutes. When asked about it later on the MMA Hour, Hallman casually explained, "I lost a bet. That was it. No details, no backstory, just a shrug and a laugh. I thought it was funny," he said. "I thought it was embarrassing for me. That's why I had to do it. But I didn't think anybody would be cross about it." Spoiler, they were. During the fight, Hallman ended up on his back, and the UFC broadcast team went into full-blown crisis mode. Cameras scrambled to switch angles, avoiding any more exposure. The commentary booth sounded more nervous than during an actual knockout. Meanwhile, Dana White looked ready to storm into the cage himself. Not only was he angry, he was humiliated for the brand. Afterward, in one of the most bizarre decisions ever made, White awarded Ebersol a $70,000 bonus. Not for performance, not for fight of the night, but for, in his words, getting those shorts off TV as quickly as possible. Dana didn't stop there. "That wasn't a Speedo," he said. "I've seen Speedos before. That had to be custom made." He wasn't wrong. The fight became a running joke in MMA history, and Hallman's wardrobe choice became the final straw for UFC dress code reform. Ebersol played along with the chaos, tweeting afterward, "Had my post-fight checkup done, and it included forensics. No staph, MRSA, chickenpox, or semen found on the swabs. I'm all clear." You know things went too far when a fighter's post-fight exam involves a hazmat reference. Not long after, the UFC quietly updated its attire policy. Hallman's purple man-thong officially ended the era of anything goes fightwear. From that point on, the organization enforced stricter wardrobe rules, ensuring that what happened that night would never happen again. Now let's jump ahead to March 2025, UFC Vegas 104. Main event, Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. The crowd was electric, Dolidze already pacing inside the cage. The lights dimmed, walkout music started, but instead of Vettori making his entrance, cameras caught him standing in the tunnel surrounded by officials, clearly panicked. His team suddenly sprinted back toward the locker room, and that's when it became clear. Vettori had forgotten his cup. Not his gloves, not his mouthguard, his cup. The one item that protects a fighter's most vital area. The main event had to be delayed while he ran backstage to fix the problem. The internet immediately caught fire. Paulo Costa mocked him on social media, saying, "Marvin Vettori is probably the smartest fighter ever. Right after Tito Ortiz, he just forgot his cup." Fans piled on with jokes. "That's not brain damage. He came pre-installed that way." Another said, "Bro's about to eat a knee to the nuts on ESPN and call it character development." This wasn't even Vettori's first wardrobe mistake. Back in 2021, during a promotional shoot for his title fight against Israel Adesanya, he accidentally wore his shorts backward, tag in the front. Fans had a field day with that too. One commented, "At least this time, he knew which way the cup went." Another said, "He never lets an opportunity to be a dumbass go by." Leaked footage later showed Vettori sprinting backstage, yelling "Managgia," an Italian curse word, loud enough to echo through the hallway. And to top it all off, post-fight medical reports confirmed minor groin swelling, not from a strike, but from frantically pulling his compression shorts on over an unsecured cup. When asked by MMA Junkie if he'd consider a sponsorship deal, Vettori replied, "Maybe Ferrari? Their cockpits protect drivers pretty well." Following the incident, the Nevada Athletic Commission quietly added a new checkpoint to their inspection list: testicular containment verification. Officials now carry telescopic mirrors, like the ones used to check under vehicles, to ensure fighters are properly equipped. Between Hallman's barely there shorts and Vettori's missing cup, maybe it's time the UFC hires a wardrobe manager, someone with a checklist and a healthy sense of embarrassment. By the end of 2024, UFC fans had already witnessed more wardrobe mishaps than anyone could count. From Dennis Hallman's infamous banana hammock incident to Marvin Vettori's missing cup fiasco, the Octagon had become almost as unpredictable for clothing as it was for knockouts. But at UFC 310, Ian Machado Gary nearly joined that hall of fame of UFC wardrobe disasters, with what might just be the first between-round strip scene in UFC history. During his co-main event bout against Shavkat Rakhmonov, Gary was fully locked in on a high-stakes welterweight showdown when something suddenly went wrong, not with his game plan or rhythm, but with his shorts. Mid-fight, Gary felt a sharp tug followed by a popping sound. A seam had torn. He was now one wrong movement away from giving ESPN viewers a sight they didn't sign up for. Still, Gary stayed composed, fighting through the rest of the round without a hint of panic. Then the horn sounded, and that's when things got interesting. As he returned to his corner, the cameras caught something that even veteran commentator Daniel Cormier couldn't believe. "I've never seen that before," DC said, doing his best to keep a straight face. While his coaches tried to give him instructions, Gary calmly stood up, slipped off his damaged shorts, and stood there in only his compression gear, like it was a casual weigh-in rehearsal. His corner quickly handed him a fresh pair from the bag, and without missing a beat, he shimmied into them and got ready for the next round. The whole thing happened so smoothly that it almost looked rehearsed. No delay, no referee involvement, no awkward censorship, just an accidental wardrobe switch in the middle of a top contender fight. Afterward, Gary laughed it off at the post-fight press conference, saying, "I was one busted stitch away from giving the front row a full view. Thank God for compression shorts. MVP of the night, no question." Later, he posted a short clip of the moment on Instagram with the caption, "Shout out to the UFC tailor. Next time, double thread it." Unlike some other fighters who reacted badly to wardrobe blunders, Gary handled his with pure humor. No anger, no embarrassment, just a funny story added to a hard-fought performance. In the end, the almost exposure became more of a light-hearted moment than a scandal. But if there's one lesson this entire video teaches, it's this: every fighter should step into the octagon ready for their gear to betray them at any second. Because whether it's Hallman's mini thong, Valerie Letourneau's bra issue, or Gary's ripped shorts, one small tear can turn a serious fight into the internet's newest meme. But wardrobe chaos isn't limited to the UFC. Across the world, from Japan to Kansas City, fighters have suffered the same fate. And in 2013, Invicta FC delivered one of the sport's most surprising wardrobe incidents. It happened on January 5th at Invicta FC4. Alexis Davis, long before her UFC title run, was making her debut for the all-women's promotion. She stepped into the cage wearing standard fight shorts and, underneath, a black thong that would soon become an internet sensation. As round one began, Davis quickly took control, gaining top position on Carla Basler. But during a scramble into mount, her shorts began sliding down, slowly at first, then completely giving up, revealing far more than intended in the middle of live ground and pound. Commentator Julie Kedzie, caught mid-reaction, could only say, "That's certainly a choice." Her co-commentator fumbled through the call like someone watching an anatomy documentary for the first time. Despite the malfunction, Davis stayed completely focused. She didn't pause, didn't adjust, just kept dominating while her gear failed her in front of the crowd. When asked about it afterward, she responded without missing a beat. "I wanted to feel sexy while choking someone." Her confidence turned an embarrassing accident into one of Invicta's most viral moments. MMA forums exploded, and the clip became the most replayed moment in the promotion's history. Fans online even joked that Invicta could have cashed in by selling fight-worn thongs in signed display cases, half-censored, half-legendary, while the organization never officially addressed it. That night went down as one of the most unforgettable examples of how unpredictable MMA gear can be. And while the next one technically happened in WWE, it still deserves a mention because it involves a former UFC champion who just couldn't catch a break with sports bras. Earlier in this video, we mentioned Ronda Rousey's wardrobe malfunction from her UFC days. Well, on September 9th, 2022, history repeated itself, this time inside a WWE ring during an episode of SmackDown. In the middle of a chaotic, fatal five-way match, Rousey found herself tangled up with Sonya Deville and her own top. Cameras caught her trying to fix a slipping sports bra with one hand while still defending an armbar with the other. What was supposed to be a scripted fight turned into an unplanned lesson in wardrobe survival. Afterward, Rousey posted the clip to Instagram, captioning it, "When you have to fight your opponent and your bra at the same time." It was classic Ronda, tough, composed, and totally unbothered. She didn't ask for a timeout or try to hide it. She just fought through the chaos, proving once again that no matter the arena, MMA or wrestling, she's always prepared to handle whatever happens. WWE didn't censor the footage, and the moment quickly spread across social media, sparking a mix of laughter and respect. Fans said it perfectly summed up Rousey's entire career. No drama, no panic, just grit. It served as another reminder that whether she's in a cage or a ring, she's always ready to battle both opponents and wardrobe malfunctions at the same time. So, which of these live-on-TV moments do you think was the craziest? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to MMA Rivals so you don't miss the next ones.